Hey guys, I have something really cool to show you that I just discovered. I have about 3 different things that I want to tell you guys about. So, on the timeline, how Passover on the red timeline was up here in February. And for those of you that are new to my channel, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about. So, you might want to check out the links that are in the description box below this video, because it explains everything. It explains what the chart is. I have a chart here. It explains what this is and everything. So I don't have time to go into that right now. But if you don't understand what I'm talking about, just check the links below in the description box. So the abomination of desolation happened August 2nd, 2012. If you count that as the first day of the first month, which, as we know in I think it's the book of Deuteronomy, it says that that Moses raised up the tabernacle and put the ark inside. That was the first day of the first month. Well, we know that the steel beam that Obama signed was raised up and put in the One World Trade Center on this day. So if you count that as the first day of the first month, then trumpets would land here on the 7th full moon on the evening of January 27th to the 28th. And if you count that as the first day of the 7th month, which would be the Feast of Trumpets, the true trumpet, if you count that as trumpets, that abomination of desolation that happened exactly according to Scripture, then the first day of the first month would happen here on the 7th moon. So I made this other chart that's a little more close up so you can see better here. We had 3 fulfillments of Scripture here. So the abomination of desolation happened on a full moon. So if this was the Feast of Trumpets, if this was the first day of the 7th month, then we would count this as 7, then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 1. Then the full moon of January 27th would be the first day of the first month. So the evening of the 27th until the evening of the 28th. So that would be the first day of the first month on the red timeline, which would mean that Nisan 10 is here on the evening of the 5th to the evening of the 6th, and Passover Nisan 14 would be the evening of the 9th until the evening of the 10th. And the way that the Jews celebrate the counting of the Omer is that they start counting 50 days after the first day of Passover, after Nisan 14. So on Nisan 15, they start counting 50 days. So here's their calendar right here. This is their standard Jewish calendar. They're celebrating Passover in March of 2013, and they started counting the Omer on the evening of the 26th. So they had the Passover on the evening of the 25th until the evening of the 26th, and they started counting the Omer on Nisan 15. The evening of the 26th until the evening of the 27th was Omer count 1. And they count 50 days, and then that 50th day is first fruits, Feast of Weeks. It's called Shavuot, or Feast of Weeks, or First Fruits, or Pentecost. Some of the Christian churches call it Pentecost. So count with me here. This is really wild. This is the red timeline. We're counting from the abomination of desolation. So if this would be Passover day 1, the evening here until the Nisan 14 starting on the evening of the 9th, and Nisan 15 starting on the evening of the 10th. So count with me. This would be Omer day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 16th would be day 7. So I'm going to scroll down here. You can count with me. This is 7 right here. This would be 14 on the 23rd. This would be 21 on the 2nd. This would be the 28th day on the 9th. This would be the 35th day on the 16th. This would be the 42nd day on the 23rd. And this would be the 49th day on the 30th. So the 49th day of the Omer would be start the evening of the 30th until the evening of the 31st. And then the 50th day, which is first fruits, Feast of Weeks, Pentecost, Shavuot, That would start on the evening of the 31st until the evening of the 1st, literally on Easter. That kind of blew my mind, so I wanted to share that with you guys because I thought, wow, that's pretty wild. Okay, here's the next thing I wanted to share with you. Remember in Daniel 10, it says that Michael shall stand up. It's right here, Daniel 10, verse 13. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. Okay, so Michael is helping this person after 21 days. We're just not really sure when the 21 days start, but we can get a clue from Revelation 12 and Daniel 12. So Daniel 12 says, and let me scroll down here. Okay, Daniel 12:1 says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of tribulation, such as never was since there was a nation to that same time. This is exactly the same as Matthew 24, where it says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. That word trouble in Daniel 12 also means tribulation. So we're talking about Michael standing up at the time of tribulation. So we're also told that the tribulation lasts for a time, times, and half a time. I've covered this in my other videos as well. That's in Daniel 12, 6, and 7. How long is a time, time, and half a time? We're told in Revelation 12, verse 16 and 14, that a time, times, and half a time is 1,260 days. So we know that 1,260 days is 3.5 years, just by pure math. It's 3.5 years, so that means that a time is 1 year, times is 2 years, and half a time is half a year. So if a time is 1 year, then that means that in Daniel 12:1, when it says, at that time Michael shall stand up, it's saying at that year Michael shall stand up. Now the word itself means time or season. It also means season. But the code that we see in Daniel 12 and Revelation 12 combined, the code is that time means year. So it's saying, and at that year, Michael shall stand up and there will be tribulation. So which year are we talking about? Well, we know from Revelation 12:1. So that's Daniel 12:1. Now what does Revelation 12:1 say? Revelation 12:1 says, and a great sign appeared in heaven. Now I have a video on this. If you haven't seen it already, please watch it. It's linked below in the description box. But Revelation 12:1 through 5, that sign occurred in the heavens on October 16th, 2012. And the last time it happened was in 1570, and the next time it happens is in 2454. So it's extremely rare. And Revelation 12 goes on to say, then a war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. So again, we're talking about Michael. We're talking about Michael standing up and fighting the dragon at that time when we see this sign in the heaven. So we know when we go back to Daniel 12, and I'm sorry if I'm going too fast here, but I have a very, they're limiting my time on YouTube. So when you go back to Daniel 12, it says, and at that time, in that year, Michael will stand up. What year? When you see the sign of Revelation 12. When did the sign of Revelation 12 happen? It happened October 16th, 2012. So when you see that, in that year, Daniel says, in that year, at that year, the year you see this sign, at that year, Michael will stand up, thy people will be delivered, and the great tribulation will start, the great war. Okay, so that's where we are right there, in that year. So from October 16th, 2012 until October 16th, 2013, that's the year. That's the year. It looks to me like it's saying that's the year Michael stands up, that's the year they are delivered, and that's the year the Great Tribulation starts. So here's what really got me. We know that we had a 1,260-day period here. We know that the tribulation from Daniel 12 and Revelation 12, we know the tribulation period lasts 3.5 years. And we know that that at the very end of the tribulation, the sun and the moon go dark, which very well could be this solar and lunar eclipse that happened. We had all these amazing fulfillments back here, and you'd have to go back and watch my other videos to understand. But we had a 7-year period from 2009 until 2016, and we're in the midst of it right now. Obama in Israel on Nisan 10 when Jesus rose into Jerusalem, right here. And from the day that Obama entered Jerusalem on March 20th until the day before this solar eclipse of 2016, there are 1,260 days. Okay, so is that the tribulation period? And that's what we have been wondering. Well, here's the thing. If it is the tribulation period, it clearly tells us in Daniel 10 that Michael will stand up after 21 days. After 21 days. But 21 days from where? It doesn't tell us in Daniel 10 where we're supposed to start, but it does tell us, it does give us all of this information. It tells us after 62 weeks, etc., there'll be 1,260 days, before the sun and the moon go dark and all of this other stuff, we're told. And we're told in the midst of the week, this will happen. There'll be 1,290 days from this to this. We're given all these time periods, and we put it together. We end up with something that looks something like this. And so could the 21 days start on March 20th? I'm just asking. I don't really know, but I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention because look where it ends. So here's the 20th. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 7th day is on the 26th. The 14th day is April 2nd. And the 21st day is on April 9th. So the evening of April 9th until the evening of April 10th is the 21st day. And the Prince of Persia withstood me for 21 days, and then Michael came to help me. So Michael stands up after 21 days. Crazy, right? Look at this. It's right on trumpets. It's right on the green timeline trumpets right here. So the green timeline starts on the fulfillment of Revelation 12. So this is the green timeline right here. If Revelation 12 was the first day of the first month, then trumpets would land on the new moon of April 10th and the first crescent of April 11th. So that's what we're looking at right there. That fulfillment of Revelation 12 happened, and 7 months from that lands us right here. So remember also, this just blows my mind. I'm just trying to keep up with this, honestly. Remember that it says on the last trumpet. So we had 3 trumpets here. When you count 7 months from these 3 fulfillments in the fall of 2012, 7 months from those 3 fulfillments gives us 3 trumpets. So if you start the first day of the first month on the abomination of desolation, trumpets would be right here on this full moon, since that was a full moon. That happened on a full moon. If you count 7 months from the 35th day on the new moon, 7 months from that, if you count that as the first day of the first month, you end up with the first day of the 7th month right here, the trumpets right here. By the way, that was when the Pope was elected. And if you count the Revelation 12 fulfillment as the first day of the first month, and you count 7 months from that first crescent, you end up with April 10th through the 12th, trumpets. So the last trumpet, there's 3 trumpets. 1, 2, 3. 3 trumpets right here. 7 months after these fulfillments, the 3 trumpets. And April 10th through the 12th would be the last of those 3 trumpets. And it's 21 days after this watch period right here. Is that crazy? Is that just unbelievable? I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I don't know what it means, if it means anything, but I just thought it was wild. So I'm out of time. I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll let you go. Bye-bye.